Picking up, before I throw it back to Linda then, this clear responsibility by the counties because health is devolved.
Yes.
And all these happenings at the moment or events will definitely be bad news for President Uhuru Kenyatta. Because time is not on his side. He needs to roll out this so that Kenyans can be covered universally. But again, you see that as per the cries expressed by Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, who is the COG chair, the Council of Governors, is that number one, we don't have enough infrastructure in place to contain all these issues. And then number two, there is the monetary issue here, in which he said we have not enough money. And for instance, this county, for example, he said spends about 700 million Kenya shillings on these health workers. We know that a chunk of the money at the county level goes to recurrent expenditure. Did we chew more than we could swallow, in the sense that we devolved an issue that the counties at the first instance of inception at the embryonic stage were not able to cope up with the speed of development, yet we are now facing the crisis that we ought to have prevented in 2013 when the devolved system of governance started in the country?
The issue of lack of infrastructure in every sector in this nation is not new. It did not come with devolution. It has always been there. Even before devolution, we will be told we don't have enough facility, we don't have hospitals, we don't have anything. Go to roads and for example, we've had those problems before. Not until devolution came in that you can go to certain counties now and see tarmac roads. So the same principle was used to apply, that if we devolve health, then if counties take up this responsibility seriously, you might find hospitals in more counties than they were before, because then the counties will focus on having county hospitals, county what, and increase the number of facilities across the nation. But what has the challenges been? Counties, we said instead of devolving counties work to counties, we devolved corruption. So more has been lost through corruption than what we can show off. Because if the monies that the Office of Auditor General keeps bringing out as stolen from these counties were well used and channeled towards the right places, I think we will have enough. Look at Makueni, for example. You see what they've done. Imagine if that was done across board. Look at the kind of school that Kibra built the other day. Okoth. Yeah, imagine if that could be replicated across board. So there are, I wouldn't say that we chewed more than we could bite. I just think we have leaders of no integrity at all, who instead of using our monies wisely, they are using our monies for their own personal benefits. They are embezzling funds, they are stealing funds, instead of using the monies to do that which was
meant to be done.
Yes.
Okay, so it's all about leadership.
It's all about leadership. Okay.
But funny enough, even in Makueni, of course, there's bound to be a strike if at all. Of course, the necessary stakeholders are not going to sit on table and discuss this. So that is to tell you then there's also a problem in terms, of course, of addressing the issues or the plight of the nurses. But aside from that, as we sort of plan ourselves to go for a break, there's that aspect of, the big question as to whether we would have devolved health in the first place. And sometimes we look at some of the dockets that were devolved and we sort of see some mistakes in them. And even the medics themselves have come out confidently to say that probably it was not a wise decision to devolve health just, of course, yet. And some of them have argued that maybe it would have been safer for them if at all they would get a health commission as compared to TSC. And ironically is that even with the teachers, we still see problems today amid, of course, the fact that they have TSC. So this time around, the medics have argued that maybe it would be good for us to get a health commission and everything. Do you suppose then that this would come in as an answer or a solution to some of the problems that we face right here in the health docket?
If they had a commission, that will solve the issues of leadership. I think there's leadership issues in health sector. Yeah. They do not have a common body that gives common instructions, or probably a common body through which money is channeled so that all the money is disbursed to the necessary places. Right. So, well, of course, that will address some problems that are there, But I don't think it is the ultimate answer that we are looking for. The ultimate answer that we are looking for is we need to have responsible people running health sector, whether it is a national or it is at the county level. Currently, we don't.
Okay.
Yes. Until we get that.
Right, yeah.
So if it's a body, national or county level, it will solve some issues because leadership issues is what we're having right now. Yes.
Okay, I just wonder why there is always this instance of sense of ping-ponging between the county governments and the nurses, the national government and the county governments. But it ought to have been a smooth way to have a solution to a problem at hand. But it appears that it always takes long political winding route. And I don't know why politics is always involved in this. For instance, the government has appointed the Ministry of Labour has taken up an initiative to ensure that it does bring some sense of consensus with regards to an understanding between the county governments and the nurses. And when you look at the developments now, it appears that also what's taking shape at the county level, it's between me and you, gentleman's agreement. Please do this, I'll do this. So why are some county governors so reluctant to an issue that's important not only to the people of their counties but also at the national level, say that if health issue is not properly attended to at the county level, then President Uhuru Kenyatta's pillar, one of the pillars in the Big Four agenda, will stand to be affected in the negative light. So how do we need to corroborate all this and see it from an angle that is more or less of a nationwide for the betterment of the Kenyan people and not the sense of the political starship that we always see between the county governments and the nurses and the county governments and the national government?
Actually, I've just remembered, you see, we are talking about having a national body that regulates or governs health sector, when in fact we have the Ministry of Health, which is at the national level, which needs to coordinate all these things. Right. So the problem that we have is the problem of finger pointing. You see, if something happens at the counties and you ask the Ministry of Health, they will tell you, health issues are devolved. Talk to COG, blah, blah, blah. When things go wrong with COG and at the county level, they tell you, oh, no, this is not our function, talk to Ministry of Health. Right. So it becomes back and forth. Instead of having solutions, we point fingers. So we need clear, to have a clear outlined manner to understand what is the role of Ministry of Health and what roles are befalling COG in matters health, so that we understand, is it salaries? If it's salaries for nurses and doctors, who is responsible? Should we go to COG? Yeah. Should we go to Ministry of Health? If people are complaining about hospitals, facilities and infrastructure, do we go to COG? Do we go to Ministry of Health? So that we have that clarity. Currently, it's like we don't know who to blame or who to go to in case of what happens. Like now, the strike. Okay. The uniforms. Who is in charge? Should we go to Ministry of Health or should we go to COG? Okay. You get those? So that's the problem, I think. Okay.